Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Healership Path I'm Rita Hickman, and this is Irma Francis, and we like to join you every day to help start your day and get it off on a right foot. So what is the Healership Path? It's a movement of women who want to make a big difference in the world by helping to heal themselves, helping to heal people that they love, or creating a practice of healing, whether it be Reiki or psychotherapy, counseling, social work, massage, whatever it may be. So I am a shiatsu massage therapist as well as a mind-body expert, and I help women get rid of their pain, start to spiral up, navigate life. I help them on all sorts of different levels in a very unique and creative way. So whenever anybody comes in my door, we're talking to an individual and we figure out how to get them exactly what they need. Whether it be pain, stress, working through childhood trauma, whether it be relationship work or inner work, trying to make a change in their life, I give them the foundation that they need and the help that they need to take it, to create the life that they want. And Irma, would you say a little bit about you and what you do?
Sure. I am a spiritual mentor and a holistic life coach. And just redid my website. So if you want to read more about me, you can just put in irmafrancis.com and I'll pop up and you can read more about what spiritual development is and what I actually offer. So I don't want to take time today to do
Great.
that. So
okay.
Because we have so much to say.
I know. So Tuesdays, what are we doing on Tuesdays?
Tuesdays we are doing permission to exhale.
Permission to exhale on Tuesdays. I like it.
Which is creating a life in balance is really going to be our main focus on Tuesdays.
Okay, so permission to stop holding your breath. Yeah, I get that. So what's today's topic then under having permission to live your life, permission to exhale?
Well, I believe what we put in our title is... are you ready to turn your leather into lace?
Are you ready to turn your leather into lace? Oh my gosh. So where did we get this title from?
Well, to me what that means, and there's a wonderful song, I think it's Stevie Nicks and Don Henley, I'm not sure, but if you get the chance, listen to that song. To me, are you ready to turn your leather into lace means are you ready to allow yourself to be vulnerable?
Okay.
To show your soft belly.
Okay. It always creeps me out. Makes me think of a fish.
Oh.
I know.
Makes me think of a doe and a soft belly.
And a soft belly? Oh. Good.
But you know what?
What?
On the way here.
What?
Oh, she's always a trip. You are.
Thank you. I'm like an LSD trip. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's fun. Driving here today, I was thinking about permission to exhale.
Okay.
And I was stopped at a red light, and I have this feeling quite often. There is the mainstream.
Yes.
That moves at a certain speed.
Right.
And then there's my stream, which moves at a different speed.
Right. True.
And I honor that. I really, really honor that. So I've stopped at this red light, and the split second it turned green, I move kind of moment to moment. So there's a delay for me, because I think when you're in a place of being mindful, it seems like to other people that may be 10 steps ahead.
Okay.
That you're off somehow because you're not going with the program. You're not going with the flow.
Yeah, you're a little bit slower. I get it. I eat slow.
Yeah.
I eat very slow.
Good.
So everybody finishes first, and then I eat slower. And unfortunately, it created a bad habit for me. And I think this is true for everybody when you do something different. My bad habit is I started to hoard food. Not like I'd steal it out of the refrigerator and hide it under my bed, although I think I did that before too. No, because everybody else would eat so fast, there wouldn't be enough left for me for as much as I wanted because I ate slower. So I had to take everything that I might possibly want. You know, let's say there's a bag of chips. I'll take a big handful of chips, I'll put it in a napkin in my lap, and I'll eat the chips from there. I won't eat them from the bag.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I don't share well because I'm worried I won't have enough. I know, these are bad habits. These are subconscious, weird shadow stuff that we developed because we're out of sync with the world. You know, in order to protect ourselves and keep ourselves in a to keep ourselves safe.
Yeah. I actually feel okay and good about being out of sync with the mainstream because the mainstream is really focused on attaining and going and doing. It's a lot more focused on doing than on being. And I've worked really hard in my life to get to a place of being, and I enjoy it. And I'm not going to let anybody push me out of it. And I feel totally comfortable with that. So back to at the red light.
Okay, you're at the red light.
And I'm in my mindful place, moment to moment. Well, the guy behind me, which a lot of people, and it's okay, it has to be that way.
Sure.
When we go out, we have to accept that we're going out into the mainstream.
Right, exactly.
And you really got to get in the flow or you can have an accident.
Right.
Right. So I have to be mindful of that as well. So how do I do both? So I had this moment where I recognized the guy behind me, in his mind, most likely, he's going to work. He's 10 steps ahead of himself. He's not in the present moment. He's not in that mindful place. And so the minute it changed, he threw up his hands because I wasn't like off to the races. And I'm like, okay.
I hate that.
And I was thinking of today, permission to exhale, and I thought, okay, take a breath. It's okay.
Good for you.
He's okay. I'm okay. Take a breath. Permission to exhale. Yeah.
So what do you do when people are riding your bumper?
Depends on the day. A lot of times I'll just move off to the side.
Yeah, I will too. I'll find the next place to turn over because I don't want to. I feel their energy, and I don't want their energy in my space. And so I would rather get out of their way so that I don't have to. But I know a lot of people, they love playing with people like that. They'll purposely slow down. They love the excitement and the engagement for it.
Yeah.
And I don't.
No, I don't either. Not at all.
Well, except when I do.
There you go. There's Rita.
Except when I'm like on the interstate and you're Mario Andretti, you know? And you're like, yeah, I got this. I mean, come on, that happens.
As long as you know you're safe
does.
and you have some control, you're not going to be put your life in danger, I'm sure. Well, no, I'm not sure.
No, you can't be sure of anything.
I'm never sure about Rita.
You can't be sure of anything. It's exciting to be Mario Andretti.
I bet.
So
that's not my style, but I bet it is. I bet it is.
There you go. Okay, so you were thinking about permission to exhale, how we are allowed to be ourselves. Now, have you ever, in past parts of your life, have you ever compensated to protect yourself so you could be yourself? I'll give an example. Like, if my husband owns a truck, and every so often I like driving the truck because it's big and nobody's gonna mess with you.
Yeah.
And so I can go whatever pace I want, however I want to, because now I'm a little more intimidating and people are gonna respect me.
Yeah.
Well, let's say, if I'm in a great little hybrid car or whatever, energy efficient car, people got this attitude of they don't want to respect you.
Yeah.
And so I will compensate. I'll bring things into my life so that I don't have to defend myself as often. So it gives me a bubble of comfort so I can relax. So if I'm tensed out, it's nice sometimes to drive the big truck so that I don't have to, nobody's going to mess with me.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. And I think I need a big truck.
You probably do. A big giant Humvee.
But to answer your question, how did you put it? Is there ever a time where? We're something similar. My example was, where you just decided to buy a big truck or hoard food, or whatever. If you learned coping skills to deal with everybody else's pressure for you to be somebody different. Yes, I'm sure along my way I definitely have. And it really has turned out one of the main things that pops into my head, and it's turned out to be a great benefit and something I really apply in the services that I offer, and that's my ability to listen and how I use that as a coping. Is there was a recognition that people love to talk about themselves. I mean, they really do. And also a recognition that a lot of times in that talking, it's ego to ego.
Yes.
And in that ego to ego, you can get into debates, you can get into conflict, you can get into competition. There's all kinds of things that go with ego to ego. And because I had that soul awareness from a young age, I really didn't want to do that. So to honor my soul and to kind of live in that place, I didn't want to go to the ego to ego. And a lot of people around me, that's where they were at. So I learned to listen really, really well because I didn't want to. When people are in that kind of self-absorbed place, they aren't listening.
Right.
And they're in that place of ego. And because I didn't want to go there, I learned to listen really, really well.
Well, and when you would listen, it would influence the energy of the people, of the person you were engaging with. I mean, many times I include at least an hour of conversation before I start any body work when I work with people, because they're coming in out of the world where they've been, the conversations have been superficial or have been, really narrow. And I have to give them time to get all of those things out of their system and to help my, the calming space and my calming energy really start to dial that down. Otherwise, the body work's almost wasted because they're so keyed up the whole time. So I give people that time, knowing that I will help shift them into a different brainwave state. And so and that took a while for me to realize. I hated small talk. I didn't like small talk, because it seemed like a waste of energy. But until it was pointed out to me, people use small talk because it's a safe form of conversation. They still want to engage with people, but they feel so insecure and so not safe that talking about sports or the weather or something that has no real impact on the world helps them still feel connected without having to risk too much. And so when I would change my perception of, small talk is a social lubricant to help develop the relationship, it gave me a lot more patience with it. Because it's not that these people didn't have depth, it's that they were scared.
Yeah, that's such a good point, Rita, and it makes me think of, I know I showed this book to you recently, but I read it, gosh, so long ago. The book is called Why Am I Afraid to Tell You Who I Am, and it's about 5 levels of communication. And you're absolutely right, and that's so wise of you to know that it's nice to get to that place of deep intimacy with somebody, but you do have to kind of ease into it a lot of times.
Yes.
So and I'd like to suggest that book to our audience. If you get a chance to read that, it's so informative, and it brings so much awareness about communication. And,
I think when we realize that's what we're doing, I know, for me, the biggest shifts in my life were when I realized what I was doing. It came out of my subconscious into my conscious mind. And when I said, now I can do something about this, I can manage or navigate it. So when I really started to own all the parts and pieces of me without judgment, now I could say, I have the tendency to do this. So how do I want to work my way around it, so to make sure that it doesn't create too much havoc in my life? So this piece about turning leather into lace is a lot about self-discovery and letting the things in your dark places to come forward, so you can impact them, you can do something about them. One of my key indicators is when I'm angry, when I'm conflicted, when I'm anxious, when I have a strong emotion. It's there because I've got an inner conflict. It's my leather and lace fighting with each other. You know, and so instead of, when I get mad, instead of mindlessly, you know, let's say attacking someone or going after them or making my point or punishing them in some way, I'll still do those things, but I'll do them for a purpose. You know, if I'll wait and then be like, okay, this is the tool that's required now. They need me to get mad in order to make a change, so I will. But when I have the initial emotion come up, I say, oh, that's something that I haven't made peace with. And it's in my best interest if I take the time and make peace with all those parts and pieces that I am, rather than react. Because the opportunity to be mad will come around again. I don't have to, I can mindfully address something instead of mindlessly address it. And I think that's the key to feeling good and feeling healthy and happy, is when you make choices, not that you feel like you are out of control. Yeah. Really good point. Making choices. That's how you can be vulnerable. You can be vulnerable when you know everything you do is a choice. Yeah. So every Tuesday, our overall focus is going to be creating a life of balance, and how do you do that? So something I thought of for today's dialogue, I heard this a while ago, and it just made so much sense to me. And of course, when I hear something, I take it into myself and see, how does that apply to me, and how does it apply to my life, if it's something that really makes sense to me. Okay. And what I heard was, in life, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. Oh. And that struck a chord for me, and I'm like, let me sit with that a bit. That goes from child to adult. Yes. Yeah, that's an adult mindset. Yeah, it absolutely is. And so I thought about that in my own life, especially in relationships. And yes, I think that's absolutely true, and a wonderful tool to carry with me throughout my life. The understanding that I don't get what I deserve, I get what I negotiate. So how much am I willing to negotiate? So in regards to relationships, I kind of turned negotiation into compromise. How much am I willing to compromise within relationship? And how important is it to you to go through the process of getting what you want? Exactly. And my answer for myself always ended up being, in relationship, was I will compromise. Totally always willing to compromise. But if I am feeling like I am reaching a place where I am compromising myself, my being able to be who I truly am in the relationship, if I have to compromise that, then I really need to look at that relationship. Because if I can't be myself, and I feel like I have to compromise that, I have to figure out what's going on in that relationship. And how to maybe move it to a space where you can be more authentic. Yeah, if that's possible. Yeah, if that's possible. Yes. Yeah. I think we have a felt sense about people that we have the ability to grow with, and the people who we don't. And you know, it took me a long time, and I don't want to say to trust my intuition. It took me a long time to not think my intuition was all there was. And so now I balance my intuition with my rational thinking. And so, because we tend to be drawn and attracted to situations because we haven't made peace with them. And so that's why we keep recreating the patterns, is because we really want to problem solve this. We really want to deal with, find out, how can I get my father to love me? How can I get my mother to love me? How can I get this to work out? And so we keep, of course, recreating these because we want to find a solution.
Sure. That's
to
what healing is about.
exactly.
Yes.
We want to find a solution to it. And so intuitively, I'm drawn to things which, you may say, oh, I've done this before. I can't believe I did this again. It was a choice, a subconscious choice, but it was a choice to revisit this, to look at it again. And now, instead of just being drawn to one person or one situation, I say, is this the person or the situation that I want to use to work through this issue with? So instead of it being willy-nilly, and then you get, somebody who will make your life completely miserable, I say, okay, this is one of the people or one of the metaphors I need to work through, and is this the person I want to work through it with?
Yeah.
So you use both so that you can keep moving that direction.
Yeah. Something I thought of when you were sharing that is the healership path, and how that can create this visual of a straight path. But I really see the healership path, especially what you just said, kind of sparked that for me, as a spiral. As a spiral, a path that's a spiral going up, and sometimes coming back and repeating something. And that's what it takes sometimes. It's not this perfect straight line, this straight path. And I heard that in what you were just sharing. That
I've gotten to a place, I'm not always there, but when I'm in my wisest, most enlightened moments, I realize there's no end game. There's nowhere to go, nothing to get. That life is about experiencing life, period. End of story. There is no person to become, there is no anything. It's allowing life to happen and enjoying the trip like a roller coaster. So my healership path looks a lot like the Eagle at Great America. You go up this rickety, it's got all these sounds and these people, and you reach the pinnacle, and then oh my God, you come back down, and then you go in all of these loops and twirls, and it's a whole heightened sensory experience, and then you get done, and you say, oh my God, I want to go again.
When's the next ride?
When's the next ride? Because to me, it's more about let's take a ride. Let's go on an adventure, so much more than achieving anything or reaching a certain goal. In business, there's a man that I really admire, and he says, money is just the way we keep score. So when you run a business or in anything like that, money's just how you keep score about how well you're doing. It's a game. It doesn't really matter, and that gives enough distance and takes enough stress off for those things that you can be like, hey, it's always going to work out because this is just a ride. I have no idea how it's going to turn out, but I'll be fine. And I'm able to say that because I live in a first world country. If I lived in a third world country, the rules change dramatically. Exactly. Right. But we are so fortunate to live in this country and to have the freedoms that we have and the luxuries that we have to even think about things like this.
And if we waste that, what a mistake.
What a waste when we're so negative or angry about what we don't have, when we are so blessed.
Yeah, absolutely. Something I wanted to offer today as a tool in creating a life of balance. And this was really big for me, is to take time to sit down, get quiet, self-reflect, and if you haven't done this already, ask yourself what your top 10 values are. And when you write those out, ask yourself, is my external life reflecting my internal life? Because your values hopefully are based on your internal life. And so I just want to make that suggestion to see, because only you get to decide if your life is in balance for you.
Right, if it's the balance that you want.
For your own unique self. And the one way to do that is to ask yourself, what are my top 10 values? Internally, what are those values? And are they matching with my external life? And when I was thinking of offering that tool this morning, I was thinking, if we don't have ourself as number one, as something we value, when we do our top 10 values, we might want to take a look at that. Because you cannot meet any of those other values from a place of strength if you aren't valuing your own self. If that's kind of not at the top of the list. And that is not a selfish thing at all. It's a necessary thing.
So here's a question.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we tend to look at people who are wired to, be healers, to kind of want to make a big difference in the world. Do you think that most of them have evolved to that level where they're at least themselves or at least in the top 10? Because, I mean, I've started looking at the women who resonate most with what I talk about are women who've already done a good amount of work already, and they have realized that if they don't value themselves or love themselves on some level, that they're not going to move forward. And then there's a lot of other women who they don't put themselves in the top 10, but then again, they're not going to evolve much. That's not their life path. That's not the direction they want to go. And so I find a lot of people who come into my life or resonate with me are smart, intelligent, capable, evolved, thoughtful sorts of people, especially women. And when I tell them to take care of themselves, it's more a validation to what they already know. It's not, because they've worked.
Yes.
They've done that work.
Yes. Yeah.
To get to the point where they realize, yes, if I don't take care of myself on some level, then it's going to be a problem. Because otherwise, they aren't even interested in coming into our space because they aren't even close enough yet. So congratulations, because if you're watching this and listening to this, it means that you've done a lot of work already and that you're ready for the support and the steps that you're receiving.
Yeah, that reminds me of when I first got into life coaching. And that only lasted a short amount of time. What I learned in taking my certification course in life coaching, it didn't last long because what I was drawing to me were clients who were in that place of the mainstream. No judgment, fine. I just knew that my passion was about helping women make contact with what's true to their authentic self, not how do I make myself fit into a society that labels this as success. To me, success is when you make contact with your true authentic self and you build your life based on that. And so I really made a shift in the service and that I offer and my approach in coaching, and I added the spiritual mentoring because to me that's where my passion comes from. I want to see in my client, who are you? Who are you under all of the things that you were told you're supposed to be? And that's what I want to support and encourage.
Right, because that's the next step that they're ready for. They aren't rock bottom and trying to find their way out of a paper bag. they're temporarily lost.
Yeah, because I don't know that somebody that's at rock bottom would be a client of mine.
Right.
And I don't mean that in any kind of judgmental way.
No.
It just maybe they are in a place for some other kind of assistance and help.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. They need something different for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I know one of my pet peeves in the healer profession, people who do any sort of the service, healing, things like that, is that so you and I had a conversation the other day about the drama triangle.
Yeah.
And we talked about, I talked about how, and you mentioned how it was self-identification.
Yeah.
When you had the ability to identify that you were repeating this process, it meant that you had evolved to a certain level of thinking. That you weren't trapped in just one part of your brain. Now you had the ability to self-reflect and say, oh, I self-identify this. And healers show a spiritual arrogance when all they see is the surface of someone. When they say, I've decided you're a victim, I've decided you're a perpetrator, I've decided you're a rescuer, and this is what you need to do. Because they don't look past the surface, the mask that these women are bringing to them, to their deeper self. And so we have an arrogance when we think that all we see is all there is, and then we give advice to women who've tried everything, who've already been around the block, who've seen 10 therapists, who've tried physical therapy, who and we're approaching them as if they're stupid, as if they haven't already sorted themselves, tried to sort these things out on their own.
Yeah, that would be horrible.
It absolutely is horrible.
Yeah.
I have a story of a woman who came to me, who I'm working with, and the therapist that she's working with told her she just needs to cut ties with her 88-year-old mother.
Yeah.
And she's like, that ship has already sailed. The woman's 88. She's my mother. I'm not going to cut ties. That's the most ridiculous thing that I ever heard. But the therapist, coming from the outside in, was saying, aha, this is your problem. Your problem is that you don't set boundaries, and you need to cut this negativity out of your life. And if you don't cut this negativity out of your life, you're a failure. Instead of her being, realizing, oh, this is, how do I help you live with the choices that you're making? Because you're a successful, intelligent, functional woman. I'm not going to treat you like you've been treated all of your life, as if you're stupid.
Yeah. That would be absolutely horrible. Yeah,
that happens so often in our profession because we only look at what women are showing. We aren't expanding our vision to see their whole self.
Yeah. I remember a long time ago going through some therapy myself and finding, first of all, the person that was a good fit for me, because the first thing I would say, which I don't know, I don't think this is something they often heard, but this is what I needed. I don't want you to give me advice. I don't want you to try and fix me. I'm here because I want you to be a mirror for me, to reflect back what I'm saying to my own self so I can hear it, so I can come up with my own answers.
Yep, exactly.
And that's what I offer my clients. And that takes a whole lot of getting that arrogance of I'm a healer, I'm a helper, I'm a this, I'm a that, getting that out of the way and just saying I'm here, period.
And then when you trust the person, when you've developed a rapport, when they've respected your requests, then you'll start to listen to the advice that they have. I mean, I'm really lucky in that I'm able to develop rapport with people very quickly. And so, and I'm kind of self-deprecating because I realize I'm just as messed up as everybody else. I'm just the one who put my shingle outside that said, hey, let's go on this journey together and let's see if we can hold each other's hands and help each other out. And so I developed the rapport really quickly with women, and they tend to be receptive to then what I say. and the advice that I say, because they know I'm only throwing it in the pot for something to be considered.
Yeah. So it's not really advice. It's you've spent time listening. You've spent time getting to know them, developing that rapport, developing that trust. So you are reflecting them back to them because you've listened. You haven't treated them as if they're stupid and they don't know who they are.
Exactly, because they do. Women are, all of us, we are so much smarter than people give us credit for. And it's time, even other women, it's time that we started to look past the leather, you know, and see the lace in each other.
But it's okay to be a woman, because what does that really stand for? It doesn't stand for weakness. Doesn't stand. I mean, what? If I asked you that, Rita, what would you say?
What is a woman?
What does it mean to be a woman?
Whoever the hell I want her to be.
Ooh.
I saw this Facebook thing, and it was a great blog post, and it was this woman had said things you shouldn't wear over 30, and the blog post
probably this.
The blog post probably because you're hot, baby. So the blog post though was challenging that, you know, it was what women should wear over 30. And they picked all of these pictures of these women dressing however they wanted to. And all it said with each picture, I mean, and it was avant-garde, and it was beautiful, and it was creative, and it was, you know, it was all the different colors and tones of women who were over 30. And the only caption, the only comment for every picture was, whatever the hell she wants.
Love it.
So what should women wear over 30? Whatever the hell she wants. Over and over and over and over. You want to go ride your bike naked? Whatever the hell you want. You know, let's stop. Let's stop.
Yes.
You know, thinking that everybody's an idiot. You know, because we aren't. We're just so protective that we don't show people all that we are, because we're used to quick judgments and, you know, fast advice, and you know what you need to do because it makes people feel better.
Yeah, and heaven forbid that we wound, you know, maybe a man's ego by showing our true, strong self.
Sure.
Heaven forbid.
Sure.
Oh, that was a little sarcastic. Sorry, I apologize.
Well, there you go. Well, and all of our egos, you know.
Very true.
When we come together, then we've got each other's back, and it gives us the security and the confidence to start being more vulnerable. And that's what this movement is about. It's about helping each of us gain the security and the confidence we need to really bring a different way of looking at the world into the world. We've abandoned, you know, these feminine qualities, which are really valuable in order to survive. You know, we've had to, because otherwise they were bigger, they were stronger, they were louder, they would beat us down, you know. And the softer nature that we carry, we have to come together as community so that we can continue to have that softness, to have that caring. You know, what comes up into my mind is this great story at the airport once. And it is a balance between firmness and caring and looking out for each other. So we had, my husband, because he would fly a lot, would have priority seating, you know, on the airplane. And so they called priority seating. There were a lot of people waiting to board. And he was able to, you know, get in line. And I was having a hard time. I mean, I'm 5'1". Yes, I do elbow people if I have to, but
she's small, but she's mighty.
I'd rather be kind and soft. And here was this woman who had looked to me earlier like she was cranky, and, you know, and I would stay away from her. She looked at me, she evaluated the situation, and she said, "Come here." You know, and she used her bulk.
Oh,
she
cool.
used the fact that she was taller and bigger and stronger to, like, part the waters.
Yeah.
You know, so that I could so that I wouldn't get lost in the crowd. And it was really beautiful. You know, when we come together, we become bigger, because now we've got everyone's gifts to draw from. We've got everybody as a resource when we come together as a community. When we try to do it alone, which is more of a masculine energy, we cripple ourselves. We cut our knees out from underneath us, and we make life, we can't do what we're meant to do, which is to bring that kindness, compassion, and softness back into the world, that femininity. You know?
Yeah. There's something I just wanted to offer. I think we're getting close to
the
end here. Music always speaks to me because, you know, it's just a kind of like a quote put to music. I mean, it's so strong, and it puts a message, it plants a message. So I love using music in my own healing. And there's a song I just want to put out to our audience today. If you haven't heard it, I can't remember who it was originally done by, but the person I heard it by is Beth Hart. And the name of the song is Soul Shine. If you get a chance to hear that.
That's an old one. I don't remember.
Allman Brothers?
Yeah, I think Allman Brothers. One of my favorite songs, and I love Beth Hart. I'm surprised. Wow, that's neat to find that out about.
Yes, I love her as
Bonamassa and Beth Hart.
She's like a modern Janis Joplin. She's awesome.
I know.
Yeah.
So sexy.
So in that song, Soul Shine, I just want to put that out to the women listening today, to let your soul shine, because that's what the Healership Path is all about.
Yeah.
I want my soul to shine. I want to encourage you for your soul to shine. And together, are we stronger together, or we're just strong, and we're supporting each other in our uniqueness? That's kind of the way I see it.
Yeah, I think we walk into our greatness and we become bigger. When we join a community, we become closer to God, our higher power, because now we have joined hands with the different aspects of who we are.
All those souls merging.
Yes, exactly. So now I've got your hair, I've got my hair, I've got your clothes, I've got my clothes. It's like a big family where we share the resources, and now we have reclaimed a part of our soul. You know, whenever we join with another person, especially for me, another woman, I've reclaimed a part of me that I had abandoned, and now I've brought her back into my soul, and I'm more whole because of it.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
So, okay, we're going to wrap up for the day. Thank you so much for joining us, especially Kathy. Thanks for being here and hanging out with us while we do our live streaming. So if you'd like, go to inspiremassage.com and join the tribe, because I really think that we are more whole and more beautiful together, and we'd love to have you become a part of us. So any comments and questions we'll answer in the emails that we send out. And thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks.